Smoke.
David Hellman with us, DallasCowboys.com. Cowboys have week 2 in San Diego, LA, against the Chargers, who had a very impressive win on the road. Justin Herbert was spectacular. David, what do you think was better for Dallas? Is that the Chargers won that opening game to get momentum, or the fact Washington lost and they're in the division?
I don't really believe in week-to-week momentum anyway. So, I mean, I get the Chargers as the next team up on the docket, but division teams losing games is always a good thing. So, yeah, I mean, absolutely happy to, for the Cowboys to see Washington fall in a hole. And, whether or not LA won that game or not, they're still going to be at the same tough challenge they were. So, yeah, I'll take the Washington loss for sure.
David, after week 1, I mean, it's an impossible, this is not a season-long question, but what do you think the Cowboys are better at that maybe surprised you a little bit?
Ooh, really good question. Well, it's funny because I think my answer would be I was impressed at how well they protected such a good front without Zach Martin. Obviously, Dak took a lot of punishment in that game, but they were able to keep him upright for the most part. I think he only got sacked one time. So that was really impressive. Obviously, the flip side of that is now you get a new challenge. You get Zach Martin back, but now you're without Lyle Collins. So it's always something with this offensive line. I don't think they haven't had their preferred starting 5 since Thanksgiving 2019, and that looks like it's going to be the case for a little bit longer here. So congratulations on blocking it well against Tampa. Now you got to do it again.
So how do you feel about Terrence Steele starting at right tackle?
I don't think anybody would say they feel good, but I really do think this fan base has an element of PTSD stemming back to the Chaz Green experience all the way back in 2017. I mean, anytime you see your quarterback get sacked 7 times, I get it. And this offensive line was a wreck last year. I get that as well. But what I keep going back to is, and, I know the Cowboys didn't have a winning record when Dak got hurt last year, but they were a functioning offense. I mean, they were scoring points. Dak was moving them up and down the field. This is year 6 for him. It's the right tackle. It's not his blind side. I think at some point, obviously, you're going to want to help Terrence Steele, get a tight end over there. Zeke's going to need to have another good day in pass pro. But this is not 2017 anymore where you've got a second-year quarterback who's still trying to find his way. I firmly trust that Dak Prescott can finagle this thing for the offense to have success. It might not be as pretty as it would be with Lyle Collins, but I think the hand-wringing gets a little bit overblown, even acknowledging that it's going to be a challenge.
I was amazed by what I saw, not because I didn't think he would be successful, not that I didn't think he could throw it. I thought what Dak Prescott did in that opening game was almost to the point of courageous. The fact that he was coming back, I know that they wouldn't have used him the way they did or not did during the training camp or whatever. I just thought that was an amazing. If there's money, players are overpaid, but then again, they get what they get because of what the collective bargaining agreement. He can't get paid enough as far as I'm concerned.
I'm right there with you, man. And that's, probably why the Cowboys wish they'd paid him a couple years ago. They could have had a cheaper deal for a guy that's capable of doing that. And it's not always going to be pretty, and I get it. They didn't win. They didn't beat Tampa. But, I mean, I'm thinking about what I watched yesterday and the day before, watching week 1 of this league. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the only guy that comes to mind that I think played a better game than Dak Prescott. Maybe Tom Brady, but I think that's even arguable. Again, I know the Buccaneers won, but Dak, I mean, he went toe-to-toe. I thought he was absolutely just as good as Tom Brady in that game. His one interception was really more of a misplay by CeeDee Lamb than anything. I think the world of what he did in that game. And I know moral victories are kind of bogus in the NFL, but if you've got a quarterback capable of doing that, then you've got a chance of winning pretty much every game you play.
Although, David, one of the things that does concern me going forward is the Cowboys aren't going to win a lot of games where Dak has to throw 50 times. They need Zeke to be more involved. Now, that might have just been necessitated by the fact that the Bucs' defensive front is nigh impossible to run on. But do you think that they will involve Zeke more as they move on down in these next weeks because they're not playing Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh.
I get your point, but I'm proud of the Cowboys for recognizing a bad matchup and getting away from it. Because I brought this up on another interview I did. I remember I have PTSD flashbacks to the 2019 Vikings game. If you go back a couple seasons, Dak played a game very similar. He was throwing it all over the yard, and the Cowboys just kept stubbornly running Zeke into the teeth of a good Vikings defense anyway, and basically putting Dak in third and long time and time again just because they wanted to get Zeke involved. And I get it. Zeke makes a lot of money. He needs to have a role. He's going to get numbers as the season goes along. But kudos to Kellen Moore for recognizing that that's a losing matchup and finding other ways. And I mean, it's not like they didn't get those types of yards. Tony Pollard had some nice games on some pop plays. They call it a pass, but if you give the running back the ball behind the line of scrimmage, sure functions like a run in my opinion. So again, I applaud them for their creativity and their adaptability. You get Zach Martin back in the lineup. I think they will have more success running it against teams that don't arguably have the best pair of defensive tackles in the league. So yeah, it's just not something that worries me. It's a long season. I think Zeke's going to be just fine.
David, Michael Gallup being injured and out for the foreseeable future. Obviously, they've got a big performance out of Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. They're not hurting nearly as badly as other teams would be if they lost to Michael Gallup. But how do you see the wide receiving core adapting to life without him for a little while?
Again, I'm not trying to say it's ideal, but this is why you keep two veteran backups on your team. There were a lot of people saying, "Ooh, maybe Simi Fehoko can take Noah Brown or Cedric Wilson's job," but they wound up keeping both of those guys. Cedric's been here since 2018. He's got a very good relationship with Dak. He's arguably worked more with him than just about anybody on this team. Honestly, same thing goes for Noah Brown. He's been here since 2017, and you've seen his role get larger and larger as we've gone along. So Cedric gives you the flexibility to play inside and outside, and Noah's got a bigger frame than a lot of guys on the team that would probably allow him to play some X and do some things on the outside, maybe get involved in the blocking game. So you obviously wish you had Michael Gallup, but on top of having Amari and CeeDee Lamb, it's really clutch that they've got two guys who are ready to step in who have played a lot of football in this offense.
Last night at 9:49 p.m., David Hellman at Hellman, D.C., watching Peyton Manning absolutely openly despise the Raiders' third and fourth and short play calling might be my favorite thing about Week 1. How amazing was that to listen to those guys?
With all due respect to Steve Levy and Louis Riddick and the guys that do the regular call, I think they're pretty good, but I'll probably never watch their broadcast again. I mean, at least as long as the Manning brothers are doing that, I'm in. I'm so in because, if it was a game that I was emotionally invested in, if I was living and dying with every snap, I probably wouldn't want to watch that. But, because they're predicting plays and joking around and criticizing and all that. But if you're just a casual observer who wants to watch the game, but you don't care that much what's going on, I feel like I learned more football in the fourth quarter of that game watching them with Russell Wilson than I have in the last 5 years. Just talking about coverages and why you want to run things against certain looks and, what are you going to do on third down? What are you thinking when you come to the line? I mean, we were watching guys, 5 combined Super Bowl rings, just sitting there talking ball and kind of joking about the game. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal, and I will watch it every time it's on from here on out.
When I turned it on, they were talking to Charles Barkley about getting booed in your home stadium, and Eli and Charles kind of turned on Peyton and that never happened to you.
I know.
You never got booed at your home stadium, and Eli and I guess Peyton was like, Charles, did you get booed? He goes, I played in Philadelphia. Yeah, of course I got booed.
Yeah.
I mean, they had Barkley, they had Ray Lewis. Russell Wilson kind of stole the show as far as I'm concerned. But, yeah, and honestly, I thought the guests were good, but they don't even need guests. No. I mean, just those two, obviously they've got chemistry. They're brothers, and they know more about football than most of us could ever hope to know. So it's really cool. I mean, anybody that's listening that didn't watch it last night, I think it runs on ESPN2 during the game. I highly recommend you check it out. I thought it was really cool.
David, thank you very much. Cowboys and Chargers coming up this weekend. Game 2 for both. Cowboys lost their opener at Tampa Bay. Now on the road against a very fun-to-watch quarterback in Justin Herbert, and a team that's pretty good defensively as well. When we come back, Baylor's Director of Athletics, Mack Rhodes, for the third